Hello, friends. Happy Friday. We made it to the weekend. Congratulations and welcome to my live. And if you happen to be watching later, welcome to the replay. My name is Robin and I'm with Robin's A Blue Creations, and I'm also an independent designer with Chalk Couture. So once you hop on tonight's Friday Night Live or you hop on the replay at a later date, please feel free to say hi in the comments and to tell me where you're watching from. Um, yeah. And if you happen to be watching later, also just don't forget to say hi. I'm live in 2 locations this evening, so if you hear me refer to a comment that is not in your feed, that person is probably viewing from a different platform. And also, I would like to ask that if you like this project and you think others should see it, please feel free to spread the craft love around Facebook and YouTube. Hit that heart button, hit that thumbs up button. Not only does that help out my channel, and I greatly appreciate it, but it also helps out your channel, because when you like content like mine, then that tells the algorithm what kind of stuff you want to see, and then it's going to show more content like mine in your feed. So it helps us out both, and I, again, greatly appreciate it. And as always, tag your crafty friends and invite them to watch along with you. So with that, I see that Jason is watching from the other side of the door. Welcome. And I also have, I do that every time, I have some of the promos for this month scrolling by on the sidebar. They are a little quick. I apologize for that, but they will be on a constant loop. So if you miss it the first time, maybe by the 4th or the 5th time that it's scrolled by, you can get most of the information. So with that, let's go ahead and flip the camera and we will get started. I don't know if you saw the thumbnail, which I can show. Let me show it real quick. Great little gifts for your the people in your life that like to read books. And so pretty much what they are is they are wrapped up books. People don't know what book they're buying when they buy the blind date in a book. However, you do give them clues and I'll show you how to do that at a later date. So here's a lot of the biggest thing to do for your blind date with a book is you're going to need a book, and you're going to need some sort of wrapping paper. A lot of people like to use the brown craft paper. This happens to be a bunch of packaging paper that I have left over from probably some of my 145,000 Amazon packages that I get. And then there's lots of extras that you can add to it. Like I have some book stickers. I have some book pages. I have a reading list in here that I like to add, and I'll show you what I do with those or how we can dress those up. So I just created this in Canva, and I'll figure out a way to share it with you. I do have a Buy Me a Coffee page, so I may upload it there and you can download it from my coffee page, but I'll have to think on that a little bit. So I have one of those out. And then I just have some acrylic bookmarks in here. I like to put a little package of tea. You could also use hot cocoa. I have some book washi tape that I got at Hobby Lobby. I have a brown craft tape or brown craft tag. I have some string, and then I have this little plastic razor blade. And I have some book pages, a paper cutter, some scrapbook paper, and then just some little trinkets over here. So the first thing you usually have to do is once you get your book, if you purchase the book, and great places to purchase the book are Dollar Tree. I've purchased them at Goodwill. You can do thrift stores, garage sales. Ask your friends, especially your book nerds, if they have some books that you could buy cheaply off of them. There's also a website called Thrift Books that you can purchase gently used books from. So wherever you purchase your books or get your books, there might be some stickers. So that's where this little plastic razor blade comes in handy. It doesn't tear your book usually. It's really great for removing all of these stickers. So I got that sticker off. So my book is upside down, so hopefully you can't see it. I have, so before you wrap up your book, you want to go to, I kind of look up my book online and kind of figure out, like I go to Goodreads, or you can even go to Amazon. But if you go to goodreads.com, there's lots of ratings, there's genre listings for each book, and then I usually try to read the comments to get more information about maybe what the plot is or the characters, and then that's what you're going to use to write on your tags. So before you wrap up your book, you want to do that. Let me peek. Okay, so, whoops, I haven't even done that yet. I picked a book that I haven't done. Okay, well, I'm going to write it off camera because I don't remember. I have not looked this one up yet. So I'm going to write it down. Okay. Okay, so I've written it down, so I know what it is. Hello, Miss Bonita. Welcome. Happy Friday. Oh, shoot. I just shot my pen clear across the room. Okay. So I'm going to put some of this over to the side. Let's wrap up our book. I forgot to get out tape. I happen to have some. If you hear a big loud crash, it's all the stuff that I'm stacking up to the side of my desk. I need to reach over here and get my tape. Okay, let's get some tape. So you can choose pretty wrapping paper. You can use seasonal wrapping paper. A lot of people just use this brown craft shipping paper that you can get everywhere. This technically probably isn't big enough, but I'm going to try to make it work. You really want it to come down to about an inch. Maybe if I do it this way. You want it to come down to about there. And then you want like an inch below here, just enough to cover the end of the book. And I think I'm going to need to put two pieces together. So, which will look kind of weird, but I have enough scrapbook paper I can make it work. So I'm just going to cut two pieces. Oops, not that, two pieces. You're having trouble getting your laptop up. I think that'll work. That may not work. I'm having issues with my brown paper. So a lot of this came out of packaging, so it's a little wrinkled, but we'll make it work. I forgot my brown paper at work. So I'm just cutting some of this brown paper. My apologies. This is why I did not go into teaching. So I'm not the greatest at it. That's probably way too much, but I'm just going to tape this down. We're just going to piece these two together. It's hard to watch on your phone. I'm sorry. Can you cast me to a TV? Not that I really want to be on the big screen, but could you cast me to a smart TV? Okay. So I'm trying not to show you my book either. So you just want enough left over down here that you can pull it up to the end. Hopefully this will work. So you pull your book down, you pull your paper down this way. I struggle with this because I'm a taper, and you could probably tape it down. You could probably cover your book with some pretty wrapping paper and then tape your outside paper to that. So you're going to bring that down, and then you're going to bring this corner in, and then so it's folded up here, and then you're going to fold this part down, and then you're going to fold that right there, and then this side is going to go back over the front, because you want to try to make these pockets, and you kind of have to, you literally need like 4 hands to do this. So I'm going to tape this part. I don't like to tape a whole lot, but just enough to where everything's going to stay put. And then you want to bring this side down the same way. So you're going to fold that. Oops. You kind of have to hold it and fold it. And then you want to fold this piece, and then this piece is going to come down over the front. It's going to make your second pocket on this side, and I kind of periodically push my book back up into the top. And so then I'm going to tape it gently right here, and a lot of this tape on the side will get covered. I'm going to push my book back up. And so then I'm going to fold. I'm going to kind of recrease this one, and I'm going to fold it over. So now I have I have two pockets. I have one pocket here and I have one pocket here. So I'm going to tape this part down just a little bit. And then I'm going to fix this little flappy dappy do. And then you're going to fold this side over that end. And no two are ever alike. Some pockets will be thicker than others or deeper. Sometimes the angles get off. That's kind of pretty much what you're going after. I'm going to fold. I think I'm going to fold this end in. This is where I joined the two pieces together. So I'm just folding that in on the back side. And then I'm just going to take that like right there. No one will know. Okay, so then you've got your book all wrapped up. So then you're just going to wrap this in kind of like a present. So I just kind of folded the edges in, I fold that end over, and then I'm going to tuck this part in so I get a somewhat clean edge. And then I'm going to tape all that. And there we have our blind date in a book. So then we get to do the fun stuff of decorating it. So I like to put in one of these reading lists. And this one's going to be kind of long, and you can I have a fly in here. You can decorate these up as much as you'd like. I'm just going to cut these apart. I'm just going to trim this one just a skosh. So then you have that, and then you can adhere it to a prettier piece of scrap paper. You can leave it that way. I've done both. I also have this little, this corner punch. And I think we're going to make it fancy if I can figure out how to use this. So it has 4 different corner punches. It has the corner rounder, this little scallop edge, this little polka dot edge, and this other little scalloped edge. I think we'll try this one and see what happens. So you just put your corner in there, and then it makes a fun little decorative punch. Woo! And you get little pieces flying all over the place. So there's our cute little reading list. So then I usually tuck it like right here in the back. This one's a little large for this book, but that's okay. It'll just kind of hang out like that. And then I just have some random book pages. These are from a dictionary that fell apart. So I just kind of tear pieces. And then I try to tear off this little margin. And then I like to adhere these pieces like down here, just to kind of decorate it up a little bit. Just get some, you can use either edge. I'm just going to use some double stick tape. Anita, would it help if does this help you any? Can you see that better? Oops, let's make it full screen. Does that help any better? Okay, so then I just put this down here. And then I'm going to take my washi tape, my book washi tape, and just cut off a strip or tear off a strip. And then we'll put it in a little tea bag, or you could do a hot cocoa. Just stick that right there. What else do I have? I like to put like a pen or a highlighter. I'll just pretend that this is, so you can stick a highlighter in there, although I got that one pretty snug. You know what? Let's leave the highlighter out. You can add page flags. I do like to add, wherever those went, where did my stickers go? They're right there. Perfect. I'm glad that works. So then I bought these book stickers on Amazon. So you just pick, I usually pick about 3 stickers. This cat one's kind of cute. Real books change the world. Let's see if there's any. Take me to the bookstore. I like that one. This one's just a stack of books with a teacup. That one's kind of sweet. Although I already have a stack of books. Emotionally attached to fictional characters. I think we'll do those 3. And then I have some of these extra motel keychains, so you could do some of these. These aren't, of course, maybe I won't do that since I'm doing a bookmark. Never mind. So then I kind of just tuck these in. Sometimes I paper clip them. Sometimes I have little magnetic bookmarks that I like to use. Let's try to find a pen that would work. I've put candy bars in them before, like the flat Hershey bars would be cute, or some of the fun size. We'll just do that. Okay, so then let's, so let me show you on my iPad. So I have quite a few books. So I have gone through and I've gone to Goodreads and I've written down just some, these aren't the book, this isn't the book that I have, but I've just written some information about the book. So I'm going to goodreads.com and I'm just going to search my book. Maybe this is different than what I've, because I'm on my iPad. Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to search my book so you can't see it, hopefully. So I'm just going to put in the title of my book. And then I have my little brown tag. And I need a pen. I don't want to sign in. Okay, so I'm pulling up my book information. I wonder if I can. So I just don't want to give away what book this is. I guess it's not that big of a deal. But like, so this is the picture of the book. The title's up here. So it gives you categories. Oops, shoot. It gives you categories right where my thumb is, right there. So like romance, Christmas, holiday, Western romance. So you can use those on your tag. So I'm going to put that pen doesn't work. So I'm going to put Christmas romance. And you can type these out. You can handwrite these. I usually just handwrite them. And then if you hit on more, it'll show you a whole bunch more. Like it'll show you a whole bunch more categories. Like you can like you could put contemporary, I don't know what else. Like I usually go back to the reviews, and then I usually try to read the reviews. Just to get some information about the book, if there's specific topics that it covers. So I just kind of read through it. I could put like a cowboy hero or something. It's not the greatest of descriptions, but you get the point. So then I'm going to take my twine and I'm just going to wrap the book. Just very messy. You know, if you had a friend, like my friend Ashley makes little glittered pens, so you could put a cute little glittered pen in here as part of the gift. You know, little candy bars or... So then I'm just going to tie it like that. And then I'm going to make a little loopy bow. I usually just do like 3 bows. Then I just trim it, and then I'm going to take my tag and I'm just going to add a string to it. And then I'm going to tie it I'm just going to tuck it kind of in there and then tie it just around my bow. These would make great stocking stuffers. These would make great gifts for coworkers. You could do like just kind of a grab bag where everyone grabs the book that they want. Okay, so then we're going to add a cute little bookmark because you know every project needs a little bit of Chalk Couture. So let's put all this. Jason says these are so cool. Okay, so I grabbed so Chalk Couture has 2 size A bookmark transfers. One is called Spirit Lead Me, and it looks like this. I am the vine, you are the branches. Every good gift comes from above. Grow in grace. That one's really pretty with the florals. And then Spirit Lead Me. And then this one. So this one's the clean, simple, spiritual Christian version. This one, not so much. This one says definitely not smut. Sleep is good. Books are better. Many books, little time. And then this one looks like a stamped library card, which I think is super fun. And then you can use the, I think it's still in stock. Sorry. You can use the bookmark mold with the 2-part resin from Chalk Couture. Bonita's asking how much brown paper did I know I was... How did you know how much brown paper you were going to need? That's a good question. So I know I need enough. You don't need a whole lot from side to side. You don't technically need a whole lot from front to back, but here's kind of how. There's none of those work. So you want, from top to bottom, you need enough. I go to at least there. You don't have to go all the way to the bottom with the one that folds over. And then you need maybe an inch, depending on how thick your book is. You just want enough on the bottom to where it's going to cover this bottom part. From side to side, you want enough where it's going to come all the way to this other side, just to give you a place to connect it. So I'm thinking you want at least triple. You want at least 3 sections that equal your book section. So this section needs to be about as wide as your book, and then you've got your book, and then the section needs to be as wide as your book. Does that make sense? It doesn't take as much as you think. Because these folds cover the side, this one covers the top, and then you just need enough to cover the bottom. But width-wise, I think you're going to need about 3 book widths of paper, if that makes sense. That's about the easiest way I know. It doesn't take as much as you think. I just kind of had to start guesstimating and playing with it. And actually, you can hardly tell. I just have this little tiny seam and then a little flap up here where you can hardly tell where I piece the paper together. Benita says, yes, ma'am, it made perfect sense. Well, good. And it made me stop to think about how much you actually need, because I usually just kind of guess. So you can use the bookmark mold and make your own bookmarks. But I didn't want to do that. I still might, but I'm not doing that this evening. I just went on Amazon and bought just some acrylic bookmarks. You can also go to Hobby Lobby and buy some acrylic bookmarks. So that's what I did. So let's make, so these usually acrylic items come with a film on the top side and a film on the bottom side. So you need to make sure you peel the film off. And I pulled out Shimmer Frost Bubbly, which was a past color of the month. It's kind of a champagne shimmer. Got out Disco, Nominee, and Shimmer Shadow. So I thought we'd go for some metallic neutrals. I think I want to do this stamped, like the stamped library card, and I'm actually going to cut these apart. Feel free to cut your transfers. I do also need to make sure that I put something on the back. So this says so many books. And then this one says Spirit Lead Me. Spirit Lead Me. Makes me want to sing that song. Okay, so I'm just going to carefully trim. I'm just going to get out. Okay, so let's pull that one off. I probably need my fuzz cloth. Just checking our time. We've been live for about 30 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to fuzz this because I'm assuming that acrylic is going to be a lot like plastic or glass, where it's going to be kind of sticky. So I'm going to fuzz this back of the transfer just to knock back some of that adhesive. Hopefully this one fits. Yep. And then I think let's use Nominee. It's one of my favorite colors. And then I need to be mindful of my edges. I'm not even for sure if that's very straight. I just want to dip my squeegee into the paste. I do need to play with the two-part epoxy one of these days. I just haven't. Paperback books do work better. I have used hardback books, but the corners get a little dicey with the paper. If you used like a really heavyweight paper, it might work better, but paperbacks do work the best. Okay, so this is super sticky on here even though I fuzz, so make sure you're pulling straight up like this, kind of so it's perpendicular to your transfer. You don't want to pull it back on itself because your transfer will curl, but it is definitely sticky. Oops, it's kind of hard to see. So that's kind of what it looks like. I do still have a film on the back side, so keep that in mind. I'm going to wash this really quick right here. Got out of wipes, cleaning wipes. I haven't used these in forever. Okay. So I'm just going to use a little cleaning wipe along with that water that I sprayed on there. Oops. I'm going to stick it right back on here. And I'm just going to let it air dry for a bit. Okay, so put those away. And I will, probably off camera, I will seal my bookmark with some gator hide. It's the same thing we used on our plant our pot the other night. Actually, you can see how it ended up. So it's actually, I can kind of see if I look closely, I can see where I ended it, but for the most part that's not too bad. But that's what we made the other night, and I used the gator hide to seal that. So let's get this dry. It is slightly crooked, but that's okay. It will still work. Hello, Miss Amanda. We just made a blind date with the book bundle. So I showed you how to wrap it. I gave you some tips on how to find out information about your book. We added a tea bag. We added some stickers. We put our details on the tag so people know what kind of book they're buying. They don't know what the book is. We're making a bookmark right now. So I used this book transfer, but we have 2 bookmark transfers. You could use the bookmark mold and the 2-part epoxy to make your own bookmark, but I cheated and bought some bookmarks on Amazon, so we're using those. I'm thinking it's fairly dry, so I'm going to go ahead and peel the film off of the back side. And that is what our bookmark looks like. Super cute. And I will, off camera, I will probably seal it with some gator hide on the front side. You could also use Mod Podge. Let's go to sleep. And then let's add some cute ribbon to it. I pulled out some of my jelly roll strips. I thought maybe I could use, let's see what happens. Because this stuff, I can't get these to tear very well. I think because of the way they're cut. So I might use them here in these bookmarks. I think this color will look pretty with that gold. But you could use lace. You could use that chiffon ribbon. You can get it at Hobby Lobby in the paper crafting section. Actually, I think I'll get my pinking shears out. Oh, this may not work. I think I wanted to. It might be way too, I think it's going to be way too much to go through the hole. Let's see. I'm going to give it the old college try again. Oh, never mind. I did get it to tear. Let's see if I can get that through the hole. Need. If you ever need a bead threader or a ribbon threader. I like to use these twisty ties. Helps me get I don't want to break my bookmark. Here. So I put my loop through the hole, and then I'm going to put my tails through the loop. It is inside out, but that's okay. It's quite all right. Makes it look even that more rugged. I'm sure there's probably people out there that hate all of these strings, but I'd probably use some ribbon if I were you, but this is what we had. And then probably ought to cut it, although I like the long floppy. So we'll just put this in our book, and it'll be part of the little package. So that is a blind date in a book. And again, I added pens and pencils. You could add page flags, little Hershey bars. You could do hot cocoa instead of tea. You could paper clip. And actually, I've used a little tiny bit of this tape runner, and I've connected my stickers to the outside. And then sometimes I'll add a little to keep them from falling down the pockets. At Christmas time, you could add some little candy canes. There is your cute little blind date in a book. And I'll add that reading list to my coffee page, my Buy Me a Coffee page, and you can just go and download that. So this reading list looks like that. I made it in Canva. And I have sold quite a few of these. I had some down at my booth on Friday, and I sold 3 of them. So I had 3 left, and then I put those in my booth at Flipping Fabulous. So I had 4 total, and I think I've sold 2 this week, and I sold 3 last Friday. So they're a really good seller. They're really popular. So this is what our little bundle looks like, and there's our cute little bookmark that we made with the Chalk Couture transfers. So you can just kind of have it hanging like that. You could make the beaded bookmarks, the little silicone beaded bookmarks, and add them to these as well. So if you make any of these for the upcoming holiday, show them to me, tag me in your posts. They're super fun. If you want to get a group of ladies together, and you could make a blind date with a book for a friend and then give it away. So make a great little workshop to do with your gal pals. But a good place again to get books is from friends. If you have any book nerds that have lots of books available, offer to buy them for cheap. You can go to thrift stores. I just bought a bunch at Goodwill. I think the paperbacks were $1.99 and the hardbacks were $2.99. Wednesdays, if you have a card a preferred card, it's 20% off. But paperbacks do work a little better than hardbacks just because of the wrapping. And then you could go to thriftbooks.com and get inexpensive used books that way. There's a cute bookstore in McPherson that you could check out. Yard sales would be a great way to get books. The library, Friends of the Library, has a sale about every 3 or 6 months, so you could check out the library. And I do think they have a shelf that always has books on it for sale. And then the Dollar Tree has books as well. Dollar General has books. So it's a great place to get some inexpensive books. So if you make one, let me know. I'd love to see yours. They're just super fun to make, and they're really popular. A lot of people love the thrill of the hunt. What book am I going to get? So, okie doke. So that was my project for this evening. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I hope to come on again this weekend for another project. But if not, then I will definitely see you on Monday for a new Chalk Couture project with the trellis pattern transfer. So if you missed last week's, go back and watch the replay. And I hope you have a great weekend, and thanks for watching. See you later.